All right, all right, all right. As you will find out, that's much more relevant than you might think. Welcome to Tina and Karen Do the Tube. I am Karen.
This is Tina. Aloha.
No, is it aloha? Oh, yeah, I'm thinking ola.
hmm
Sorry. I
I
always get those
learned
two
two
mixed up.
words in my stay there. One I
Aloha and
already know.
aloha?
Aloha and mahalo.
Oh, isn't aloha and aloha two words?
It's one word with two meanings.
Right, like which. Welcome to Tina and Karen Do the Tube. We have a great show because we're going to talk about some interesting subjects. An Oxford graduate is suing his parents for financially supporting him. And then we also have a Hampshire woman reveals that she's got surprisingly pregnant despite being a virgin. We're going to talk about non-fungible tokens, which has got Tina all the craze. He's very much interested in this subject. I know nothing about it, so I'll be interested in hearing about it. And perhaps the biggest headline that's just eye-popping, Matthew McConaughey considers running for governor of Texas. But before we get into any of that, I'd like to just talk to Tina about Hawaii. So you went to Hawaii this last week.
Yeah, I was gone from the 1st to the 6th, and unfortunately we weren't able to do our cast over there, but it was a great time.
Yeah, I was supposed to go with you. You had offered me the second ticket because you were given a choice to bring someone along. And because not you personally, but it was scheduled to start on a Monday, I decided I did not want to take that much time off work. And that's weenie of me. That's very weenie of me.
No worries. But
there'll be future trips. In fact, you and I talked about going back to Benton on Memorial Day.
I think that's a real possibility.
That's good. I've been looking forward to going back there. That's awesome.
Be able to do the 15 or who knows how many brewery runs in one day.
I think we went through 8 last time. I think we started too late, and the bars closed pretty early, if I remember.
Yeah, it's a distance thing. It's not a drinking thing.
16 beers is a drinking thing. It's both. So how was it though? Did you go on a lot of hikes, or what did you get up to when you were there?
Oh my goodness!
Is it first time outside the country?
Not outside the continental U.S. No, I've been to Alaska, but this was my last state. I've officially been to all 50 states.
No way.
So, yeah,
dude,
you can say that you know someone that has now.
No, yeah, my dad is probably the closest person I know who's been to as many states, but he even told me he's been to 48, and he always talks about wanting to go to West Virginia and Ohio just to be to all the states. But yeah, I don't think I've ever met someone who's been to all 50.
Do you want any opinions on best worst state or what when you have to go to?
Give me the one state you'll never go to again, and the one state you can't wait to go to again. Kansas was pretty fucking dull. I was with you on that. Trap. No, it wasn't. God, but the cool part about that is that it's flat. I know that might seem to anyone to any Kansas listeners out there. I think your guys' highways are awesome because if you're over here on the West Coast, you don't understand that like 70 is pretty fast, but in Kansas you got fully paved highways with flat grounds and no cops, no people around. 100 miles per hour just doesn't feel like anything.
I guess to be fair, I've only been to Kansas in some of the worst times to go there when there's no crops growing and it's just bare field.
Yeah, you kind of want to go there at the end of the harvest, right before the harvest season, so you could see the rolling fields of wheat.
Yeah, that might be the most interesting thing there.
I like Big Sky Country.
Wichita was good.
I like Big Sky Country. No, Wichita was not good, man. It was a dry fucking county.
Oh,
Do
yeah.
you remember that? City. When we drove for 14 hours and all we wanted was a beer and we went to a gas station, there was none?
It did have arguably the best museum, though, out of that whole trip.
It was a pretty fucking nice museum, but, man, let's talk about, dinosaur bones or beer.
Damn.
Pick your... What's important to you, man? You want to see history and ancient beasts, or do you want to drink some beer? No.
I'd rather have some beer, especially after that drive.
I can see why Kansas is on your list. I might put Oklahoma over at Kansas, but I don't know. Because at least Kansas was unique because when we got to East Colorado, it was the first time we really got outside of the Rockies, and it was unique to be in a situation like that. The Great Plains, big sky country. It was cool to me. But by the time we got to Oklahoma, it was like, okay, it's run its course. Yeah, let's fucking move on.
What was the other part of that question?
The other question is that was the state that you would never want to go back to again. What's the one state that you can't wait to go back to?
I wanna visit New England a little bit more. I kind of came in right at the beginning of the pandemic when I was there, and a lot of stuff was closed, and it was also the winter time, so I would definitely like to visit that area again.
Any state in particular, or are you kind of lumping them all together?
New Hampshire was a lot more pretty than I would have thought. And Maine, there's a lot more to do there.
Well, you know when the best time to go to those states, right?
Oh, fall. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually what I would love to go to. I would take my wife there. Because I've always dreamed of... I don't know. Something about me always thinks of all the places I would want to move to, New England is up there on the list. I think Alaska, New England, and Colorado, Utah. I was very surprised when we went to Colorado and Utah. I liked the way it looked down there.
Yeah, my second time in Colorado was definitely very fun in Estes Park at the hotel that inspired The Shining. And
did you eat any Rocky Mountain oysters?
No, but I had Rocky Mountain oyster infused stout.
So you drank a beer.
Yeah, steeped in bull's balls.
Excellent.
It was very meaty.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell us about Hawaii?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people go there to relax, but this trip was very travel heavy. Somehow I drove 500 miles on one island in 5 days. So
500 miles.
Yeah, there's it felt like a road trip. There's surprisingly a lot of driving you can do on that island.
That's crazy. I never would have guessed 500.
And
that's more than the distance of Washington State.
I know.
Well, it's shocking to me. It's driving across one of the bigger states in the country is less driving than Hawaii.
It's because I think because the roads are really windy, especially around the coast, and it's pretty fun driving on these one-lane roads right up against the water and the hill and kind of dirt roads, and you don't know what's around the corner. You feel like you got to honk to see if anyone's coming the other way. And
did you spend any time on the beach?
My last day, that was the only time, and I got a sunburn.
Only time? Your whole week in Hawaii, you only spent one day on the beach?
So first day I did the road to Hana. That's a full day trip. Second day I went up to the mountain Haleakala, which is a dormant volcano.
Also, kudos to you for pronouncing these correctly.
Yeah, I know. That one still gets me sometimes. I had a crazy fun hike into the crater out there.
Oh, wow.
And saw the sunrise, or not sunrise, but sunset right over the clouds, where the Space Observatory is. Very cool. Next day, I had a helicopter. My first time on a helicopter, going over the West Maui Mountains and then across the water to the largest sea cliffs in the world on Molokai, the other island. And then the next day after that, I went snorkeling at Molokini, the crescent-shaped island just off the coast. Saw a sea turtle, swam with a bunch of fishes. Pretty cool.
Oh, did you think of Finding Nemo?
The day after that, I went to the beach and relaxed.
Were you thinking of Finding Nemo?
A little bit, yeah.
Oh, dude, all right.
Fish.
No, I was thinking just I can't remember the turtle's name, but that's the best character from that movie. I saw a guy talking to his dick and using that song, that part of the movie. It was pretty fucking brilliant. Yeah, he's take it on the jellies. All right. I literally thought everyone from California talked that way up until I met a Californian, and I was very disappointed. But, all right.
Yeah, you would definitely enjoy it. There's a lot more to do than just hang out and drink on the beach.
Then why do I go? That's what I want to do. No, I'm just kidding. I want to see all the natural beauty and volcanoes and stuff. Yeah. All right, we should get into this. So we have a couple topics tonight. I want to start with the most ear popping Matthew McConaughey on running for Texas governor.
Yeah, surprise, surprise.
Okay, so Matthew McConaughey running for Texas governor. It's a very honorable consideration. The actor spoke with today's show's Al Roker, who was in Texas reporting on the state's recovery from historic winter storms, about talk, including the star's own speculation that he considered running for governor at the state. It's a very honorable consideration, the Oscar winner said, so I am considered that. Sure, it's a great thing, an honorable thing to be able to consider. He repeated himself 2 or 3 times.
In typical McConaughey fashion.
All right. See, it's all coming around. It's circular. The Father of Three continued, what I've got to choose for myself is I want to get into leadership role of the next chapter of my life. Now, what role am I going to be most useful in? I don't know. That's in a political position if that's me as a free agent. So that's something I'm personally working on, is what is my position going to be in leadership? First off, what are your overall thoughts on Matthew McConaughey as an actor or as a person?
He certainly had quite the evolution as far as like his career in acting. I think like when he was for some of the first roles, I knew him for Dazed and Confused, and I think the very first movie I remember him in was in Tropic Thunder.
I had seen him in stuff before that, but he didn't leave a lasting impression because I saw a lot of romantic comedies.
What's that one with Kate something on an island?
How to lose what?
No, they're like trying to find treasure on an island.
Oh, I don't know that one. I mean, I think I see the first thing I can remember him is How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days or something like that, which I think he's in. Of course, his best role forever will always be Dazed and Confused. When he plays the creepy 20-something-year-old guy who's hitting on high school girls.
What I like about high school girls is I keep getting older,
and they
keep staying the same age.
It is like, like the story behind that, like his first line in that movie in all cinema is all right. He said like he was modeling it after his older brother, who says, I got beer, I got chicks, I got like weed, so I got all 3 things for a good night. All right.
Yeah, and so it's kind of funny, like, that's how I first was introduced to him, and then he kind of slowly became a more well-regarded actor.
What do you think of him in Interstellar?
I liked him a lot.
That's my favorite Matthew McConaughey movie, but that's just because
the AIDS movie too.
I didn't see Dallas Buyers Club.
That was a good one, based on a true story, and I think it won Jared Leto supporting actor, at least a nomination for.
I know they both won Oscars in that movie. I remember.
Yeah, that was definitely the most like transformative role I've seen him in.
He's a very regular Christian Bale.
Christian Bale light.
Come on, give him that's a little hard.
Come on, I mean Christian Bale. That's a whole nother level right there as far as body transformation commitment.
Okay. Keep Living Foundation has been helping Texans amid storm recovery, visiting a 93-year-old woman the star and his family bonded with several years ago while delivering Thanksgiving dinner to those in need. I'd vote for him, she said confidently. So what do you think? Okay, so outside of acting, have you maybe followed him? He recently published a book called Green Lights. Have you seen any of his interviews about that?
No, do you know more about that? I don't know as much about some of that stuff.
Well, he's a very spiritual man. He's probably made that clear in a lot of interviews. He's very mystical, and he kind of just like goes with the opportunities that have been presented to him. And he just sort of goes with the flow. I think he's a very poignant and very intelligent person, not just an actor. I mean, I think a lot of actors are pretty fucking dumb, to be honest. Some of them I think are pretty smart and they're with it. Sometimes they think that means that their political opinions matter more than the average person when they don't, and that kind of rubs a lot of people the wrong way. But McConaughey just seems like someone who. So, for reference, McConaughey is a Democrat and a lifelong one, but just from a lot of the statements he's said in interviews I've seen him, makes it clear that he's a Democrat, but he is very sympathetic to conservatives.
Yeah, there's a quote later on in the article from him that I really liked, and it's very Texas, quote where he says, "There ain't nothing in the middle but dead armadillos and yellow lines."
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think why he would run for governor of Texas is because I don't think he has higher aspirational goals in terms of politics. I think he's just Texas born and Texas proud. I think he just wants to be the head of Texas.
Who do you think makes a better fit for their state? Arnold as governor, Arnold Schwarzenegger for California, or McConaughey for?
Are you telling me the guy who was born in Texas, raised in Texas, and lives in Texas versus the guy born in Austria and raised in Germany or Austria? Is he a better? I think obviously Arnold is a better fit for California than Matthew McConaughey is for Texas, because California is weird. And Arnold Schwarzenegger was the best choice for governor at the time, the governor. But
I guess the outlier, who's that one guy from Minnesota, the former WWE?
Stone Cold Steve Austin.
No, different guy.
Damn it.
It's like
I could have sworn
something.
it was that. I could have sworn it was that guy. You sure it's not Steve Austin? I'm pretty sure the Minnesota congressman or senator or a governor, I don't know what he was, but I think it was Steve Austin.
No, it's something else. You guys all look it up.
Yeah, this is like going live. What are you talking about? Minnesota wrestler, politician. That's this.
Okay. Let's.
I'm typing it in. We're gonna see who it is. Jesse Ventura.
That's it. Yeah.
He was part of the Reform Party.
He's still an active member in politics.
Wasn't the Reform Party the one Trump had to get out of because he said it was too racist?
Is that true?
Yeah, because David, I remember you can find quotes of Trump back in the early 2000s asked, "Why did you leave the Reform Party?" And he says, when they had guys like David Duke come in and start running things, I thought it got way too. I don't want to quote Trump out of context, but he left the Reform Party because he thought it was too racist.
That's saying something.
Trump's not a racist, but anyways,
I know, but it's still.
Well, I mean, I don't want to say he's not a racist. I mean, I just don't know. I can't read the man's mind. So
Yeah, I don't think it's meant to be read. It's meant to be performed. But back to McConaughey. I could see him as a good fit for governor. He definitely seems very much moderate.
Well, what he said to Joe Rogan, and I think this is very sympathetic to what a lot of Texans are feeling right now, because right now Texas is the number one state where people are moving to. And
yeah.
And what Matthew McConaughey said to Joe Rogan, who obviously Joe Rogan moved from California to Texas, he said to Joe Rogan, just understand that, just try to remember what you moved away from, and that people here in Texas, we think a certain way, we vote a certain way. What he was trying to hint at is don't turn Texas into what you fled.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, certainly, I mean, you're moving into a very established kind of Texas culture, you know.
Yep.
If there's a state that's more itself than any other, it's Texas is one of them, you know, if not the biggest personality out of all of them.
Yeah, I think Texas, California, and New York, three biggest personalities in terms. Florida,
definitely a big divide kind of between like the panhandle part and the Miami southern part.
Okay, so when I think about Florida, there's like three stereotypes that come to mind: retirees, Cubans, and meth heads.
Midwest, not from like out west.
No, no, no. I think Arizona is our Florida.
Yeah, I think you're right on that
Yeah.
point. I think there's like over 1 million.
Just given what I've seen in a lot of his interviews, I like him. I'd vote for him. But I mean, I think that do you think leadership skills and political and being a politician are the same thing? Oh, look at this thong song. No,
Are they? I think they can translate for sure. I think leadership's a quality that kind of transcends just I guess a base of knowledge or expertise.
the only thing I think that's working against him is I think he's a genuinely good guy, and I think all politicians are psychopaths. I know.
And that's the number one thing we vote for, really.
I really think that. I think it's called selectorate theory, but the politicians that represent us don't really represent us. They're just trying to form a coalition in order to stay in power. It's right out of the dictator's handbook, man. Like they only concerned with staying in power. They don't have any principles. You can't be a principled person and be in politics.
And
It's always-
certainly there's a reason why he's running for governor rather than like a Senate or
True.
House of Representatives position.
Sure. Honestly, I hope he just runs as an independent. I know he's a Democrat, but I think just from all the interviews I've seen him in, he's not what you would say is the archetype of what the Democrat Party is today. So I wish he would run as an independent, but I don't know.
Yeah, it might be too tough. I think the only way that you can really win as an independent, maybe in like a governorship, would be in like a smaller state.
Like Bernie Sanders.
Kind of, yeah.
Well, he was an independent. I know he ran as a Democrat for president, but he was an independent senator from Vermont.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just trying to think if there was any other states too, but I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah, me neither.
Anyways, I don't have any strong opinions one way or the other. I like McConaughey. He seems like an all-around good guy, and I think he's a proud Texan, so if he wants to run for governor, more power to him.
Yeah. Would you rather have McConaughey as governor of Texas or The Rock as your president?
I like The Rock. But wait, are you asking me if I'd rather have McConaughey as the governor of Texas or The Rock as my president?
Sure.
But
or
that-
maybe who
but-
would be better
But
at
no,
their position.
okay, because the honest opinion of like who the governor of Texas is, I don't give a shit. It doesn't
Yeah.
affect me.
I know.
Right.
But
I could have worded that better.
okay, so who do you think would do a better job? Matthew McConaughey as governor of Texas or Rock as president? I
I
don't
will
know.
say president's probably a harder job.
Yeah, definitely.
I would say McConaughey as the governor of Texas for a couple of reasons. One, president is a lot harder. Two, Matthew McConaughey just feels Texas to me. And three, I don't think The Rock could fit on the stage. If he had to get up for a press conference, he'd be fucking too wide. You can't put him in a suit. Just,
I wonder how he gets into a suit.
I mean,
Is it like piece by piece or?
The Rock is also someone a celebrity who's talked about getting into politics a lot.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to bring that up. Like there was a lot of people that said they were considering like a presidential run or maybe like a governor run, kind of after Donald Trump had shown he could win. Yeah, as
An outsider winning president or winning a major
but
office.
then but then a lot of people that I heard that were thinking about it kind of backed off of all the kind of vitriol that came after his presidency or during. Specifically, I'm thinking of like Oprah or.
I don't think Oprah would face the same backlash that Trump did.
Certainly, you're subjected to a lot more criticism, though. That's
True,
for sure.
but like Oprah's of the left, and the left owns the mainstream media, so it wouldn't affect her in the same way.
Yeah, there's a reason why she chose not to, though.
She's smart.
Yeah, and there's a
Trump's
reason
not.
why other billionaires don't want to either, too.
Mark Cuban, I think, has talked about running for president, though.
He has, yeah. I don't think he said that he wouldn't or dropped his name out of the consideration yet. But
is there any celebrity off the top of your head who you'd want to run for a major office?
That's a good question. Not anyone off the top of my head. Do you have one?
I used to think Jon Stewart, but I don't think that anymore. I used to watch The Daily Show like religiously, so I thought that he always had a good grip of things. But not so much anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a unique position that I think you have to really want to do. I don't know if I'd like someone to do it, even if they would really necessarily be qualified or deserving of it.
You know what the real fallacy of leadership is, right? It's that the person who wants it most is usually the least equipped. No, it's true. Like usually, like a good leader is born leader. But like the true people, the power hungry, they're the ones who rise to the top. I think this is best demonstrated by Game of Thrones. Like Jon Snow is truly, if you watch the whole show, is truly the best leader amongst all the characters on the show. And he's the guy
He's
who
the most
wants...
reluctant, though.
Exactly, but he's also the most reluctant. So he's the only person who's not seeking power, and yet everyone recognizes his competence.
Interesting.
Yeah. But that's the kind of person who you'd want leading you, is the person who's not power hungry, who almost is reluctant into the role.
So, yeah, you said it's the fallacy of leadership. So why do these people end up taking the office? Is it because they're willing to, or they're just natural risk takers? Is that why?
Who?
Oh, these people that end up, in leadership positions.
Oh, well, it's just the reason why we have so many narcissists and sociopaths in power is because in order to be in a position where your decisions affect the lives of so many people, you kind of have to be a narcissist, sociopath, where you just distance yourself from the outcomes. And like the problem is, I think this is known as electorate theory, but basically when like the politicians who are representing us you take any politician, left or right, and say, does this reflect the average American at all? Fuck no. I don't think at all. I think that they're simply power-hungry people who are trying to stay in power.
It's almost like the person that we'd want most in power would never consider even running.
Off the top of my head, I still got no one. In terms of like who I'd want to see run for president. Or like maybe governor of Washington. Conan O'Brien. Why the fuck not? No one thinks of him. Like he's like of all the late night hosts, he's the least political.
Yeah, I don't know. Late night seems to be on its way out.
Yeah.
All right, we spent enough time on this Matthew McConaughey. We're actually over time now, so let's move on. Let's next thing we want to talk about. And I'm going to let you sort of educate me on this, but how about this? JPG file sells for $69 million as NFT mania gathers pace. God, that's a horrible written headline. Every day, the first 5,000 days by the artist known as Beeple set a record for digital artwork in the sale of Christie's. I have no idea what I'm reading. So what is this? What are they talking about?
So NFT is a big acronym in the news right now. A lot of artists are creating NFTs. The acronym stands for Non-Fungible Token.
Love fungi.
Not to be confused with a coin. There's a difference between tokens and coins in cryptocurrency. So basically, this is a token created on the Ethereum network, a blockchain type of network that artists have been using to create kind of authenticized files or art in order to sell to fans. And some of them have been selling for a lot of money. The JPG file and this article called "The First 5,000 Days." They sold for $69 million by a guy named digital artist named Beeple. who I guess just makes a single new JPG art file every single day. He's been doing it since 2007, and this is just a giant collage of that. And previously, he had sold another kind of GIF for $6 million, which was the previous record for how much people have been willing to buy an NFT for. Other artists like Grimes have been selling her music, on NFTs too. And really the best way to kind of explain it is, and something I didn't know until recently, is that these NFTs, it's not a reproduction. It's like an original, kind of like an original painting. But if you buy one, you actually don't technically own like the intellectual property of it. The artist still kind of owns that. And in a way, since it can be authenticized by the Ethereum blockchain, people know it's an authentic. And so almost it's really kind of like an autographed kind of baseball card, basically.
Huh.
Yeah.
This kind of goes back to a discussion topic we had a long time ago, but about the right to own. You had talked about how so much of what we consume these days is a subscription service, and we don't actually own the actual property, the intellectual property, like you're saying. But I guess this it allows people to have sort of quasi-original pieces of the original property.
Kind of, yeah. Quasi-original, like.
Right, right. But they're okay.
Yeah. I think Banksy, another artist, got involved in this, and he made like a drawing or painting, and then ended up burning, but then sold the NFT version of it for like $300,000.
$300,000, Jesus Christ! So this thing's getting big. So I'm gonna read some of the article. After a flurry of more than 180 bids in the final hour, a JPG file, a JPEG, made by Mike Wickelman, digital artist known as Beeple, was sold on Thursday by Christie in an online auction of $69.3 million with fees. So essentially, someone bought a JPEG file for $69.3 million.
Yeah, and there's a lot of speculation on the whole reason why these are kind of blowing up. A lot of it seems just to be kind of a new technology mania, and that it might just subsequently subside, kind of like that tulip craze,
I don't remember the tulip.
The Dutch had a long time ago.
Fuck the Dutch.
The original bubble.
No, I stand by my statement. Fuck the Dutch.
If you know anything about like kind of art auctions or the art sphere of sales, that there's a lot of money laundering that kind of goes into this.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, people use art as tax evasion, essentially.
Yeah, and so that could be also why you see some outrageous prices for some of these things. Is there's no real set price or market price for a select work of art. It's all up to the eye of the beholder. But it is a way to kind of hide and.
I'm looking at
legitimate money.
I'm looking at a JPEG photo of the Mona Lisa. If I put this on my wall, is it worth $69.3 million? It has to be. Or am I underselling this idea?
Like, $69 million isn't even a whole, a record amount for a work of art. I think one of Leonardo. I wanted to say DiCaprio.
You were going to say DiCaprio. I got you. You thought you could get away with it, but I got you.
Yeah, you got me. But one of his works sold recently for $450 million. God
damn.
So I think a lot of the reason why those get sold for that amount is I think museums will purchase it for that amount in order to sell tickets, basically.
All right, so the article goes on. Beeple's collage JPEG was made or minted in February as a non-fungible token, as it says, or NFT, a secure network of computer systems that record the sale on a digital ledger, known as a blockchain. Yep, just like Bitcoin or any other crypto. Gives buyers proof of authenticity and ownership. Most pay with an Ethereum cryptocurrency. Every day's was the first purely digital NFT sold by Christie's and is offered to accept payment in Ethereum, another first for the 255-year-old auction house. Interesting. So it's a fully accredited sale. Fully authenticated sale of a fucking JPEG.
It just keeps getting weirder, doesn't it?
The world.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh my god, what the I'm actually looking at these.
Something,
I'm
what
looking
do you think?
I'm looking at these. They're fucking cool looking. They're weird.
Oh, some of the individual JPEGs.
Yeah, I could download this for free.
That's the thing, you know, like
I'm just saying, I think someone's overpaying a bit. Just a bit.
have you seen the show WandaVision?
Not yet. Is that, yeah, that's the one, the Marvel show?
Yeah. I think it's the #1 streamed show in the last 2 months.
It's on my list. I'll say that.
It's definitely good. Definitely the later half is, I think, better than the first, but the concept is kind of original. But they go in at the there's a question posed at the end of the series, and I guess it's an old philosophical question. I think I may have heard of it before, but it's called the ship of Thesis paradox. And the question basically is like you have this famous ship of Thesis, and you know it's known as the ship of Thesis. And let's say over time it has to get repaired, and you know new planks of wood have to get installed, and new sails. You know, and at what point is it not the ship of Thesis? You know, kind of.
Yeah. I remember that movie we watched. Fucking hell! It was a good one. It was a weird one. John dies at the end. I think it was something like that.
Yeah.
Well, like I remember the movie starts with a whole like riddle or a paradox, in the sense that like a guy kills a man with an axe, and then the axe breaks. The axe head breaks, so he replaced the axe head, and then the axe handle breaks, and then he replaces the axe handle, and then a zombie comes back from the guy who was killed by the original axe, and he says, like, is that the axe? That's the axe that slayed me. I mean, it's completely different parts, but it's from the original axe. So is it the same axe?
Yeah.
So that's the ship of Thesis.
Kind of, yeah. It probably stems from that same exact question. And the reason why I bring it up with like this, you know, the art here is like, you know, you can have replications of these easily made for, you know, digital art. You can literally just like copy it and save it into a different file from like a screenshot.
I do it. I do it all the time. I'm gonna like basically decorate my whole apartment with original paintings.
Thought about that too, just as a sign of irony.
There's nothing ironic about it. I just want beautiful art on my walls. I don't care if I paid for them or not.
Yeah. But it's still the same. It's still the same work of art, right? But
well, is it?
That's the question, you know. Like especially like with digital art, you know, where it's the same string of numbers and things. Whereas like maybe with a painting, it'd be really hard to replicate the same brush strokes and everything.
I got a question for you. It could be a controversial opinion, but is photography art?
I think anything can be art.
Anything can be art. If I took a shit right now, is that art?
There's certainly shit art out there.
I'm not denying that. But like, yeah, is it?
I think
it's photography. I mean, because photography, you can make the argument. Certainly, there's a lot of photography that looks good, very good. So I can't truly, but
can something be artistic without being art?
Ooh, that's a good question.
I guess, is it art at the point where it actually sells for something? Does it have to be valuable?
No,
to be
I
art?
don't think it's about the sale. I think art is subjective and in the eyes of the beholder. If I paint something that is worthless to everyone else, but I think is beautiful, I think it's art.
I like objective art.
Fuck you. I do agree with objective beauty, but I don't think you agree with objective beauty.
Oh, how so?
I would feel like you are a relativist. I think that you would think that like there is a
Okay, so if I were to describe a perfect woman, is there such thing as a perfect woman?
I mean, certainly there's a way to find the most. I think there's formulas to find what people would find the most attractive between a large set of people, but
I actually
for
watched
each individual person.
I watched a video the other day about the world's perfect ass. No,
How long was the video?
It was about like 3 or 4 minutes, but it was basically scientific. It really was, and it wasn't just based on polling data, because polling data is bullshit. It was based on actually scientifically proven proportions for the best reproduction possible, the best reproductive outcomes, and it was beautiful. So there is a perfect ass. Scientifically speaking, there is a perfect ass. But that's sexual.
For its other functions.
What the other fuck is another function of an ass?
It's a muscle, you know.
We sit on it. But we're not talking about like the fucking like Hank Hill ass syndrome.
I was thinking exactly that.
There's certainly like a certain amount of girth we need to be qualified as an ass.
Okay.
But
the most beautiful ass.
Okay, let's talk about objective beauty. Like, so is beauty truly in the eye of the beholder, or is there such a thing as true beauty?
I think was it the old English poet said something along the lines that beauty is truth and truth is beauty.
Yeah, I think that they go right hand in hand. I really do. I think that there is an objective reality. I know that a lot of people would be pissed about me saying that because fucking postmodernism and quantum physics. But I think there is an objective reality, and because I believe there's an objective reality, I think there is an objective standard. There's an objective beauty to the world. I think that we need to seek it in the same way we need to seek truth.
I just kind of think like also like trying to find what, especially nowadays, like what is essentially true and what isn't is also just as hard to capture as maybe what is beautiful and what isn't.
I think that you hit the nail on the head. Trying to figure out what's true these days is fucking bonkers. It really is.
Yeah.
It really fucking is hard to find the truth these days.
It's almost easier to find what's more beautiful than what's more true.
Well, I always know I can find a fellow truth seeker when I ask them this one question. Would you be happy if you're proven wrong?
Depends on the outcome.
Does it? See, like, for me, like, if I were to be proven wrong about something, it means that my worldview has now... it means I was wrong before, and I think we get entrenched in this idea of we have to be right. But I don't know why we have to be right. I mean, this world is so infinite, and every human being is fallible. It's so silly to think that one person could sort of understand it all.
For me, it's kind of like if I was thinking like the apocalypse was coming and I was proven wrong, you know, could very easily prove me wrong, you know.
Actually, that's a question I want to bring up for a future discussion with you on a different podcast. 'Cause I don't want to get into it tonight. But
sure.
You said something in a few podcasts ago that I wanted to follow up with it, but I just didn't feel right at the time. So I'll bring it up to you after this podcast, but it's a subject for another one. But the question I asked to make sure I know a fellow truth seeker and not someone who's just who stakes his ego on the idea of being right is, would you be happy to be proven wrong?
If the apocalypse was, I thought the apocalypse was coming, then it turned out I was completely wrong, I'd definitely be happy.
Right.
If I maybe had been thinking I was a lot greater person than I was, and I was proven wrong, I think I'd be humbled.
I think that would actually make you a better person going forward, wouldn't it?
I wouldn't be happy initially, probably.
No, but it'd be better for you in the long run.
Yeah. So, I mean...
Here's a quote for you, and I always enjoy this one, but trust those who say they seek the truth, and doubt those who say they found it.
Oh, you wanted to go more into that skepticism talk from a few episodes ago.
What's skepticism talk?
I think we talked about like what skepticism and like it's good in healthy doses, but not as an overall view.
That could be it. But we got to move on because now what time is it? We got 44 minutes. I think we can squeeze out another topic.
Lawyer.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna go to this one. All right, so this is definitely ripe with irony. But here, this is from timesnownews.com. No idea about that source, so indifferent. 41-year-old jobless Oxford graduate sues parents for lifelong financial support. Now, that headline right there should just, like, I don't know. It's amazing.
It doesn't almost seem true.
There's great irony in this world when you can think about that. Like, I'm going to sue you for being too generous. All right, so the article, a 41-year-old jobless man has sued his parents to force them to pay him maintenance for life. Faiz Siddiqui, I think that's the best I could do. A trained lawyer with a degree from Oxford University said that he is completely dependent on his wealthy parents. Siddiqui's Dubai-based parents have let him live rent-free at a £1 million flat they own near London's Hyde Park for 20 years. They have also paid all of his bills. However, they now want to stop supporting him after a family quarrel. Oh, okay. So initial thoughts?
It seems like Jeremy in 10 years.
No.
I hope not. Probably not. But if things went the wrong way, it could see it something like that.
Oh my God! You and promise me this. Like, if you and I are still friends with Jeremy in 10 years, and this ever comes up, we have to talk him out of it.
I hope not. He seems pretty set, especially once he gets into the JAG program.
Yeah. Okay, good. Because I think so this is amazing. Why not be grateful for everything that your parents have given you thus far? They give you a huge boost in this world, huge head start. Fucking 41 years old, 20 years, and now you're mad that they're cutting you off, and you're a lawyer.
Yeah, I just kind of think it speaks more to our times where we just have kids that have to live with their parents or be supported by their parents for longer than they normally have. That's what I was kind of getting from this article.
Yeah, that was what I was getting into. What do you think about the future in terms of like parents and kids? Do you think that there's going to be something of a reverse course, where parents have learned we've helicopter parent our kids too much and we have to basically let them loose in the world again? Or do you think we're just going to continue along this course of coddling so heavily that I guess my question, what do you think of the future in terms of like the next generation is going to be like?
Well, it seems like the natural order of things is the parents take care of us, and then out of gratitude, we take care of them later in life, right?
That's how it's always been.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know about
it seems
always,
like the exception right now is there are a lot more older people now than there used to be, thanks to improved healthcare and all that, and just a boon of births, after World War II.
It's also that, but the millennials are a big class of big generation as well. The baby boomers reproduced. Yes. Millennials are not reproducing, so you go figure what's going to happen. I honestly think we're at the end of history in terms of automation, and robots are going to be replacing us.
Certainly Japan's preparing for that.
Yeah, in our lifetime.
What their population is.
In our lifetime, human beings will be replaced. I hope not. This is one of those things I hope I'm proven wrong. But I genuinely am terrified by the future in terms of artificial intelligence and automation.
Would you rather be replaced or join them, become like an android?
Oh, okay. See, this is going back to, I think Elon Musk had a podcast with Joe Rogan, in which I think he said something like, this future where the robots are everywhere and they're integrated into society is inevitable. So it's better not to resist because it's going to happen. So it's best not to resist. So yes, human adaptation to this new technological age is better for society, better for the individual maybe even, but there's something fundamentally wrong with it that I don't think that...
Do you think maybe it's like the natural order of things, like being life forms that naturally expire? Maybe there is some things we discover and we can live forever and adapt, through gene editing or whatever new technology comes, where we could essentially be immortal too, or do we have to build? Does it seem like nature's a way that we have to build something inanimate but somehow full of some sort of sentient life, where it can kind of replace it as kind of like that kind of being in the universe? I guess it's kind of getting a little existential at that point, but
that's a big question. I don't have a good answer for it. No, that's a really good question. We could do almost a whole podcast on this topic. I mean, really.
Yeah. But is it natural for a 41-year-old to be living off his parents?
Yeah, let's bring it back. We'll go back into this another time when we can agree upon it. But Siddiqui is fighting a first-of-its-kind case that can affect the rights of parents in the UK. The 41-year-old opines that he is entitled to claim maintenance from his parents as a vulnerable grown-up child due to health issues. Oh, okay, hold up. I didn't hear this part. And that well, actually, that doesn't matter to me, but and that preventing financial support would be a violation of his human rights. Siddiqui has done his practice at top law firms. However, he has been jobless since 2011.
Yeah, that's the curious fact I saw in there. Like, why has he been jobless since then?
Yeah, the article's kind of short. It doesn't really go into his health problems, as he points out.
I'm finding a lot of the articles that you've been sending me the last few weeks, especially these ones from England, are all very short and curious, but I never get enough information for what I want.
Dude, I still want to know what happened with that couple that didn't know that sex makes babies.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. I should really stop with this UK crap. You guys, fucking Brits, you better get your journalistic shit together. We want answers.
Yeah, they're cock teases.
Okay, but hold on. Let's bring this up. Does it make a difference to you if a 41-year-old has a health problem? Should the parents be responsible at that point? Responsible.
That's the thing. He was able to have top job as a lawyer, probably well-paid lawyer at firms until a certain point of time, so he's able to take care of himself with those difficulties up till that point. Did those problems occur after 2011? I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So his mother, Rakshanda, and father, Javed, give him 400 pounds a week, or roughly $40,000.
Mm-hmm.
I hate
plus
saying
the rent-free flat.
Oh, fuck. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about two things here. One, the cost of living in London. And two, should parents be responsible for their children when they become an adult?
Okay.
And my answer to the second question is no. Parents should not be responsible for the child. Not the child. The fucking 41-year-old man. After they turn 18. But okay, so here's the counterpoint, right? Mm-hmm. If he's not being supported by his parents, and he can't work, he'd be a welfare recipient. So he'd be on the taxpayer's hook.
Yeah, I don't know much about how UK and welfare and all that. But he definitely seems... The thing is, I need to know more about this problem that he has where he needs their financial support.
But would it matter? So like,
It would in a certain context.
let's say he couldn't. Okay, so let's say it's a mental thing because he's a lawyer, right? Because there's no physical requirements really to being a lawyer, other than maybe you have to be able to talk and move. Yeah, I would hope.
Bare minimum.
I would. Yeah, I'd say if you're in a wheelchair, I think you could be a lawyer. I think. Tell
Yes.
Jeremy I can break his legs and he'll still make it. In fact, it'll give him a good hook. You should feel sorry for me. I'm in a fucking wheelchair. Okay, he's guilty. Thank you.
Moving on.
Yeah. Oh wait, no, he's gonna be a defensive attorney. Never mind. So he'd actually want to get the guy off. But if you let's say the health problem was it had to have been mental in order for him not to be able to be a lawyer anymore. Do you think that he's unqualified to do any job that could support him in London, which is a very expensive place to live? Or would you just say he has to move outside of London then?
Let's judge the guy by his look. I'm looking at him here.
He's a
Looks
nice
somewhat healthy, maybe a little bit obese.
Yeah. He almost got the double chin going. He seems
Yeah,
like
but not like morbidly obese.
No, he's not American. He's not that bad. Dude, Americans are fucking fat. I heard a statistic the other day. 2/3 of Americans are overweight or higher.
I blame the South.
No, I blame fucking like just processed foods and like I blame the lockdowns, really. No one's fucking going to the gym and everyone's fucking ordering out. They're fucking not even moving.
Did they say weight is gone? It's gone up since the pandemic?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because people are at home, they're not exercising, and like not only they're not exercising, they're not doing the basic maintenance of life. They're not walking and moving. They're just fucking sitting at home and ordering junk food. It's fucking terrible. And people are anxious and depressed. They're fucking comfort eating.
Yeah, I think that almost more speaks to like how well off we are financially as a society, as we can have all our basic needs met and don't have to really think about our own weight or.
The issue of America has never been a material issue. Well, I'm not going to say never. I'm sure the Great Depression was materially weak. I'm saying that the big crisis in America these days is a spiritual crisis. People are anxious. They're depressed. They have no motivation for life. It's very fucking sad. Like our life expectancy has been going down for the last 3 or 4 years. And it's not because of medicine's getting worse. No, medicine's doing fine. The top 3 reasons why people are dying younger these days is suicide, drug abuse, and heart disease. That's fucking shocking.
Yeah, it's insane, and I don't know exactly who to blame.
You don't need someone to blame.
That's the thing.
You want to point your finger?
It seems like the only people we have to blame is ourselves, but
well, I always blame the government by default.
Seems like a very preventable problem.
I always blame the government by default.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that Seinfeld episode where Kramer starts a rickshaw?
Still proven guilty.
Well, you ever see that Seinfeld episode where Kramer starts a rickshaw business? And he hires homeless.
Yeah,
he hires homeless people, and then there's that one homeless man who drops like a fork or something, and he just says, "The government."
That's you.
I'm hoping you remember that exact scene. I look at that guy and I say, "That's me in 20 years."
The government till you prove me wrong.
Exactly. The answer to my life, all of life's problems, is the government until I'm proven wrong. Innocent till proven guilty works in reverse when we're talking about the government. Anyways.
So is it the government's fault that this guy is the UK government's fault that this guy is suing his parents because they're not taking care of him?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Because under ideal circumstances, like this fucking, the government would have put him in jail a long time ago and said, "Grow the fuck up." I don't know.
It takes some cojones to sue your parents. Like
it takes some cojones to sue your parents because they were too generous to you.
Yeah, it seems like the only person that would do that is a lawyer.
Oh yeah.
This guy doesn't have he also has a history. I don't know if you saw the very end of the article of suing people for weird decisions. This one not as weird, but it looks like he took some legal action against Oxford for and sought like $1 million because he claimed he had inadequate teaching that led to his 2-to-1 degree instead of his first. I'm not sure what that meant, but
I'm a dumb fuck, so I blame the schools.
the case was thankfully rejected.
Oh my god, this guy is.
He sued Oxford for inadequate teaching.
This just sounds like the prototypical
This guy,
spoiled
he's
brat.
a Gen Z guy.
He's a Gen Z kid. He's a Gen Z 41-year-old who clearly just wants to be taken care of by their parents and is ungrateful for everything and has no skills and blames everyone.
He is using his skills to try to get money.
That's impressive. You're right. Yeah, I should.
Doesn't have to pay his lawyer fees because he's a lawyer.
You know what they say? He who represents himself has a fool for a lawyer.
I don't know if I've heard that one, but I like it.
You don't know? You didn't know that one?
I don't think so. No, I don't think I've heard that one.
Wow. Okay. Sorry. I thought that was a pretty common one. Well, yeah. If you represent yourself, you have a fool for a lawyer. All right.
We're all foolish.
Okay. Hey, Tina, we're at about an hour into this podcast, but if you want to call it good, or we can go and do one more story, I'm good either way.
I think we're good. I think, it's the government's fault.
That's the one takeaway from this podcast, folks. If your life isn't going like you wished, just blame the government.
Mm-hmm. And if you blame the government, vote in the people that you want in the government, like Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, and then you can blame Matthew McConaughey.
That or create digital art for a few years and sell your NFTs for millions of dollars, then you don't have to worry.
And then fuck over your parents.
We're giving out dispensable life advice on this show, aren't we?
Oh, the most practical.
People who listen to this show and no other show know exactly how to live a productive, good life. All right, this is good. I enjoyed this and happy to have you back, Tina. It's been I missed you.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks now, and I feel refreshed after Hawaii, even after all that traveling, and ready to see what other weird or interesting news we conjure up.
Yeah. I think my wife and I are going to Seattle maybe next weekend. Maybe we can get lunch together.
Yeah, for sure, especially before the baseball season, soccer season starts here.
Yeah, cool. All right, for Tina and Karen do the tube, I am Karen.
This is Tina.
All right, everybody stay safe and stay hydrated. We love you.
Boom.